what's your biggest takeaway so far? If there was only one thing you've learned so far, what was it? Fucking send it. Yep. Don't overthink it. That is so much of what I'm genuinely trying to teach you, and that's why it's called what it's called, is because so many people, look, we create products for ourselves, okay? Like this is the product I wish I had when I was 22 years old, and I would sit there and go, well, I should send daily, but then I'll send 4 in a row, then I won't send one for 2 weeks, then I'll do this, instead of just being like, just fucking send it. Like, you are going to get real-time feedback, and unless you say absolutely wild shit, you're probably not going to get a huge amount of unsubscribes. So the worst that happens is some people dislike you, or you write anything, whatever. There are people who left my list this week because I had a swear word that was bleeped out. And the irony is they're all so mad. It's like, you know what the best-selling book is of the last 10 years, nonfiction, is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Most people swear. If they don't, that's fine. You don't have to buy this product. I said but there's, how dare you? How dare you? I don't want to associate with the lowly likes of you. Okay. Write whatever you want and make sure 90% of the time you add a PS with an offer, weekly theme to high ticket recurring promo. Cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, so many of your emails don't have to direct. This is something I have to remind myself of, because I'm like, well, what am I promoting today? The best emails, the things that people always tell me about, the things that people love, is when I write emails that are like stories or lessons or things that I'm going through, and then maybe there's a PS, here's this thing. But it's largely like those true relationship building emails. That's where I get caught and I get stuck in my own head around well, I need to be promoting something specific. And that's why I was saying, do not get caught up in this weekly rhythm as some sort of Bible for how to do things. If you want to promote 7 different things that week, each email can promote a different thing. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you send something. Okay. How do you know who opens your emails if they don't respond? Yeah, just in the campaign stats and the email service provider. Emails like a bank account is a big takeaway. Keep sending. Nick said he needs to figure out his offers. Click here to check it out. Yep, that's an easy one. Main takeaway, invest in those who invest in you. Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people. They forget that there are people who are buying, who are your fans, who want more shit. Create for the people who love you, not for the people who hate you. Right? It's the whole 1,000 true fans thing. You can make 6 figures, you can make 7 figures from 100 or 1,000 people who love you. So stop focusing so much on the people who don't like you or trying to appeal to. The simplest way to be an unhappy human is to try to make other people happy. It is absolutely out of your control. Other people have all their own fucked up shit going on, and it is not your responsibility to fix them. It's your responsibility to be yourself. And if they don't like who you are, then they aren't your friend and they don't matter to you. It doesn't make them a bad person. I'm a very polarizing person. In real life, there are people who do not like me when they meet me. I genuinely don't fucking care. It's not, and it doesn't mean I think I'm better than them. I just don't give a shit because I like me. I have to spend all my time with me. I'm the only person I have to hang out with all the time. And if I'm trying to accommodate other people and act like someone else in order to make friends that aren't my real friends, who gives a shit? I have certain words I say on purpose in front of people because I know that if they don't like that word, they're going to get offended later on. So let me get it out of the way quickly and find out if you're a real friend. And it's the same with my emails. I don't want to have an email list where I'm fucking censoring myself. The only thing I don't talk about is politics. And that's because I'm not political. So it's not a thing that I don't talk about, COVID and shit like that. It's not important to my business to talk about those things in person, in real life. Yeah, sure. But I want to create a list of people that are interested in what I have to say. And I'd rather get rid of the people who don't like me. You do not have to appeal to everybody. You can get them onto your list. And if they don't like it, they can fuck right off happily and go on to their own little world and be sad because they're missing out on a great time. Okay. Alrighty, so let's jump into some examples here. I'd like to work with some of you guys. I know there were some volunteers early. Alex Sost, are you still on here? I know you've bought a ton of my stuff, and so if you want to participate, I'd be happy to go view us. I'd like to get a few different types of businesses and kind of go through what I would do. I'd like to only spend maybe 3 to 5 minutes with each of you and just kind of give a quick synopsis of how I would go about things. I think that'll be really helpful for you guys to be able to sort of see how I think about other people's lists. So, Alex, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You are very high up. I don't know how you're getting service from there,
Can
but
you hear me?
I can, yes.
Great. Okay. I'd love to be an example. Here I am in Cloud City, and I'd love to be an example.
Okay, what's your business?
I'm just starting it. It isn't launched yet. I have the ability to sell businesses an annual subscription where they can give away complimentary vacations to their employees. It's basically an employee benefit. The complimentary vacation is really it's a hotel room. They get like a 3 to 7 day getaway. There's 100 destinations around the world, and they can give away an unlimited amount. So if you have 1,000 employees, you can give it to each employee. It doesn't have to be some precious reward that just a few people get. So, whether you have 100 employees, 5,000 employees, they can give away the vacations. And as an added value, I provide a monthly newsletter that describes like 3 of the destinations. So it encourages people to travel. And the underlying theme of the newsletter is travel now, enjoy life, don't wait.
Okay, so who are you actually selling to? To business owners?
I'm selling it to either business owners or for bigger companies, HR benefit managers, because they're the ones who'll be deciding. Originally I'll start out selling it probably to the business owners because it'll be small businesses. As I grow the business, I'll be targeting HR business managers and larger corporations.
Okay, and so the goal is, and what do you get a commission on this? Is that how this works?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there's a wholesale price, and I make the profit on everything above that wholesale, and it's the same wholesale. So, if I sell it for 5,000 to a big company, I make a lot more money. If I sell it to a small solopreneur, I pay the same wholesale and make less money.
And the benefit to the business owner is essentially that they get to give free vacations to their, even though it's not actually free, to them, they get to give free vacations to their employees.
Yeah, we don't say free, we say complimentary because the employee has to pay like maybe $150 to $200, the usual taxes and fees that go with the hotel room. Like you get the hotel room for free, but you're paying the usual taxes and fees. There's no timeshare presentation. You just go and enjoy the vacation.
Yeah, because if you're selling a timeshare, I'm just going to not help you.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's not, you don't have to hear a timeshare presentation.
I will say this. Anybody who wants to get better at selling, go to a timeshare presentation once in your life. It will be the worst, best experience you've ever had. I went to one and I was taking notes. I was like, this is horrible and genius. This is like, and then the guy got like, this was an old girlfriend a long time ago. He was starting to be mean to her about, I was like, all right, fuck face, like I'm out. But the presentation was so good. And you're like, wow, I almost bought a timeshare. Like, I mean, God, am I glad I didn't. But like, just go to one once. They are so good at it. I mean, it's impressive. The thing to keep in mind, even with all marketing, just really quickly, is like commercials and things like timeshares where somebody is forced to sit there is a lot different than what we essentially do, which is interruption marketing, where they do not have to sit through your shit. So your shit has to be good. Anyway, so what I would say then, if you're going to get basically business owners and HR managers on a list, is, see, that's probably not a daily email. It could be, especially if you just have the one offer. But even if it's 2 or 3 times a week, I would likely be sending out, one of my sort of rotational emails for that would be to talk about specific destinations that people could go, right? Imagine sending your favorite employee to, Scottsdale to stay in this great hotel. Imagine how they're going to feel when they get back and how much they're going to love you when you're the boss who sent them on this trip and stuff like that. So I would focus on maybe specific destinations and getaways and things like that. I would have emails talking about the different benefits of, you could probably find 50 different studies and examples, not necessarily studies, but like articles that talk about the benefits of non-paid benefits, like perks, right? Talking about examples like Google and how they made their offices an enjoyable place to work and how that changed productivity by, and how by giving people unlimited paid time off. They actually take less time off and different stuff like that. Like you could find so many just business articles that you could basically become a curator of and become you do commentary on these different types of articles. So you're basically reacting to these different things that you've read out there, right? So that's something I would do, but I would probably do 2 or 3 a week. Probably not more than that, unless you really find that you can sell other things and build a deeper relationship where you are essentially creating a list that's just for business owners, right? Where you could sell all sorts of different types of stuff. But if that's the primary thing, I would focus on, travel, productivity, how people react differently after they've been on vacations and stuff like that. And I'd probably go, 2 or 3 a week.
Oh, good. I was thinking once a week, and productivity was going to be one benefit.
Yeah.
Employee retention and morale.
Yeah, 1 or 2 a week would be fine for this. But I would have one core one that's like once a week at the same time on the same day. That's if you are going to do a weekly email, make it known what time, when it's going out. Like for this year, I'm gonna post one long form video on YouTube every single week, no matter what, and it'll be Friday. I think I'm gonna do Friday at noon Pacific, and just that way people know. Hey, I know Friday afternoon I get to watch funny video. Because if you're inconsistent with things like that, people don't know. If you write daily, and also, I send people are like, what time should I send? I just send when I write it, Is sending first thing in the morning better? Maybe. But what's better than sending first thing in the morning is just making sure you fucking send. It's the same thing with meditation that I used to struggle with and that I tell people all the time. These books will tell you the best time to meditate is before the sun rises in a specific corner of your house with a incense burning and God invited into your soul and all these things. And then, so if I missed my morning meditation, I'm like, well, I missed the best time to meditate. The second best time to meditate? Fucking anytime. Best time to send an email for your list might be 6 a.m. every morning. The second best time is anytime you send it. Yeah, and thank you, Danielle. Yeah, just fucking send it. So,
yep.
But yeah, so with a weekly email, though, I would go, this is the time I send it, this is the day I send it, and then that way people are expecting it and it becomes something they're looking forward to.
Great. Appreciate it. Thanks for this and everything else.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Deborah, you've got your hand raised, man. So I want to go through some very different examples. I saw somebody said they sell $25 t-shirts. I would love to use that as an example as well, because I think that's a very different type of thing than some of what we've talked about and still applicable to this system. So.
Hi, Ian. I'm a Dream Builder coach. My foundational program is a 3K program that I sell. I'm currently developing a Facebook group. So that's where I'm using what you would call the emotional bank account to build people up. I post content to that once a week. And I'm sending emails, I would say 3 times a week now. But I have very little traffic in there right now. So I'm using a company called Traffic Rockets, and I'm in the process of trying to build that up.
Okay. So the main thing is to sell the 3K offer?
Yes.
So I would say once a week, if you're going to send, let's say it's 3 times a week. The other thing here that's important for everybody to understand is commit to an amount of times per week that you will actually send. It's better to send 3 times a week, every week, than it is to send 5 days in a row, then not for 10 days, then 5 days in a row, then not for 2 days. Then it's better to have some sort of a consistent rhythm, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is that you can hold yourself accountable to. It's like for some people, they're literally better off working out twice a week. For some people, it's impossible to work out twice a week because once you lose the habit and you only do it on these 2 days, it doesn't work. Some people have to work out every day. Work out for yourself whatever is realistic that you will hold yourself to. So it's not about perfection. It's about finding a rhythm that's realistic, that's going to make you more than not sending. But so I would say 1 a week would be to drive people to that Facebook group. So where you maybe you have a post that's in the Facebook group and there's an interesting cliffhanger 4 sentences in. If you want to read the rest of this story, click here to join the Facebook group now. So one of those join allows you to build the group, because the group itself will build on itself on Facebook. If it starts to grow, you'll have it, Facebook will start to recommend it to people. So there's a benefit there. I would also once a week, at least in your Facebook group, be telling people to get onto your list. So they feed each other and they basically become this little, symbiotic relationship where each thing grows the other thing.
Okay.
Then the other two emails, I would be literally, do you do a phone call to sell it?
I offer a strategy session.
Yeah. So I would basically be like, when we're talking about the North Star, right? Instead of starting with the end in mind, the end in mind is to sell your 3K program. Don't let other things get in the way of this. This is where people, even who've been through my list snowball training and of list building stuff, get really caught up. Well, what if I don't have a $7 offer? You don't need a $7 offer. If you have a $5,000 offer, don't let the $7 offer get in the way of selling a $5,000 offer. Focus on that thing. So your goal is going to be largely to get as many people, like even for email game changers, right? My goal is to get as many people into a trial as possible, because I know if they test the tool and they're the right fit for it, they're going to be a subscriber for a long time. For you, it's getting people to actually book a strategy session. And then if you get to the point where you're overbooked and you go, I'm getting all these shitty leads, then you start to disqualify people into the session. But ultimately, I would be doing whatever I could to get people, whether it's a PS, a story about, one of the, you could once a week, you could easily just tell, if you have testimonials of people, is this is what happened to so-and-so. If you'd like a similar result, click here to book a free strategy session with me. Or I'd be, and this is kind of what we'll go into when I start showing in email game changes, the different types of emails you can write. But I would basically have one a week that sends people to the Facebook group, and then I would have two a week that are literally book a call for the next 6 months straight. What you don't know is when somebody's going to decide to buy. You don't know what things going on in their life. An example I always like to use is like in the health world. You may be on somebody's, fitness or health list for a year and you don't buy anything, or you bought one thing, and then on Christmas somebody goes, "Oh wow, looks like you look different. You look like you gained some weight." Or some little kid, your nephew's like, "Hey, why do you have boobs, Dad?" Or not. I don't know why they'd say it. Call you Dad. That would be another thing to unpack. But there's that moment where you go, Jesus, I need to take care of my shit, right? And that's the moment where they go, I need to buy this. Or in the business world, right? I always say Sunday is the best day to send emails, because in most industries, that's when you're going to make the most money, because Sunday is the day. What people's favorite day of the week is typically Friday or Saturday. Friday, even though they may have to work, it carries with it the excitement of the weekend. Saturday is the day they get to truly just be on the weekend. Sunday, people get anxiety. They've got a hangover. They've got the fear of their shitty boss the next day. They ate too much on Saturday night. Sunday is the day when people live in a place of regret. Regret is a powerful tool for sales. Sunday is a day of shame. And on a day of shame, shame influences selling behavior. So Sunday tends to be a great day to get somebody who's, let's say they have a job they hate and they want to make money online. That Sunday is the day they're going, God, if I have to go to this fucking job one more time, you know what? I'm buying this course. I'm making a change today. People make emotional decisions. And so that's one of the best days for most people to send, just, for fitness, for dating. Sunday is the day when that guy got rejected by a bunch of women that weekend. It's the day that they realize, oh, maybe playing Call of Duty every night isn't the best way to meet my future wife. Maybe I should go out into the world and do something. They have Sunday's a great day to sell stuff. So yeah, basically your primary goal is to get people to book a call with you and then sell them into the 3K program.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
That's great. Thanks.
No problem. Okay, let's do whoever had the shirts, just to sort of flip things around and go with a lower ticket thing. And then Kenneth just asked, how do you track buyers when you're promoting affiliate products? They tend to have all the tracking set up. So that's on them to be able to have that set up. Okay. Jan or Yan, do you want to unmute yourself, or no? It's okay if not. Okay, no problem. Well, with t-shirts, here's just a quick sort of thing I would say is, because I do have a clothing company that I'm not sending emails for at the moment, but stories about the shirts are about the ethos of the company can be really powerful. My buddy has a company called Lions Not Sheep. Doesn't do a great job with email, but you can literally just talk about different, like for me. So I'll use mine as an example. I have Feed the Wolf, which is a clothing and merchandise company that I haven't spent much time on right now. I have some comedy products, but then I have like actual, or we will have actual Feed the Wolf clothing and stuff like that, where the message is about feeding the good wolf, right? So I can literally just write emails about motivation, about stories from my own life when I didn't feed the good wolf, when I did. And then if you want to get, and then you just have a picture of the shirt and put that shirt in there and they can go and buy it. If it's more, like you were saying, it's beach themed, it might be more of, sometimes with, with e-com, it can be more picture based, but ultimately what I like is what I call a lift note for a e-com company. So I was writing for this laundry company, basically like a 50 to 100 word little lift note. Did you know that the contaminants in your laundry might be causing your skin to itch, or in your laundry detergent might be causing your skin to itch? They have things like parabens, phthalates, all these things in them. Our little laundry sheets are completely good for the environment, and they don't contain any of these harmful contaminants. Link. That's the whole email. It doesn't have to be some long drawn out thing. So e-com, I would say, with physical products outside, like health related products, you can write long emails for supplements, for stuff like that. But if you're selling really like lower ticket physical items, then you want to have some sort of 50 to 100 word, almost like lift note. Think of it as like a little bit of a teaser that might get them to want to buy it. Or if it's really visual, then it can just be as simple as, here's this cool looking shirt. Check this thing out. Imagine going to the beach and everybody's like, damn, dude, where'd you get that? Are you Tommy Bahama? Are you the original guy? People are going to be coming up to you, asking you where you got that shirt, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Did you know that putting on this shirt is scientifically proven to make you happier at the beach in the studies that we did not run? And this is not a true scientific thing, but I'll tell you what, I've worn this shirt and it felt fucking good. Why don't you get one? This is where so many people forget that there's an opportunity to show personality and to be fun. Native deodorant sold for $100 million. They sell deodorant, but they had some of the most entertaining emails of any e-com business I've ever seen. And that's a huge part of why they did that. People think, well, I can't. There's a woman who has a company that sells salt. I think it's salt. And she writes these, insane emails. And they make a ton, and she just like swears and talks about vaginas and all sorts of stuff. And she says that when you opt in, but people like, you sell salt. How exciting can you make salt? And she's like, hold my beer, check this out. There's an opportunity for fun in so many different realms. Even like Nick said, literally my favorite emails. So it's like, you can make so many things fun that don't seem to be fun, and that's up to you. So okay, let's keep going, and then we will move on to the demos in a little here. Manny, go ahead. You had your hand raised. Yeah, especially if you're selling beach clothing, that's a fun place to have a good time. And even just because somebody asked me yesterday, they had like a very serious business around like trauma and stuff. And like, so I don't want to make any jokes or anything. And I'm like, well, I had a business with a therapist for 2 years that did 7 figures a year selling high ticket workshops that were basically working through deep mental and emotional trauma. And those workshops were very serious. And I still made jokes in my emails. If anything, people who have a bunch of trauma and bullshit, they don't want to not laugh. They're not like, oh yeah, don't you dare entertain me or be funny. Like, you can joke about serious things. You can also be serious about them. So don't think that just because the topic that you're in is serious means that you have to be serious all the time. One-dimensional people are boring. I write some, maybe not as much lately, but I write really intense emails about personal stories and stuff. My book, Confessions of a Persuasion Hitman, opens up with how I thought I was going to kill people for a living and talks about how I got mugged and was going to go in the military. And then it's all sorts of jokes throughout it. Like that emotional swing is fun. Is builds a deeper relationship. If you can take somebody from crying to laughing, they're going to be more likely to buy. You want people to feel things. Email is a transfer of emotion. And the emotion you have when you're writing or whatever you put out is going to be transferred into the person who is reading it. So, okay, Manny, go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
So, real quick, I want to build a kind of mastermind of.
Can you speak up, please? We can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes.
I want to do a mastermind on cigar lovers. I live in Dominican Republic. I live in the actual region where the tobacco is the most fertile, and I have all the factories here of like the biggest cigar makers. I recently had two people that I brought from the Republic of Congo, and they loved it. I gave them a little tour of it, but I was just doing it as a friend, as a just showing them around. They both said, hey, if I were to pay $2,000 or $3,000 and stay here for a day or two, I would do it in a heartbeat. So it got me thinking, and I figured, hey, how can I start with getting some traffic and then just talking through email with it, and then selling the mastermind via email.
Yeah, so that's a pretty easy one, to be honest. I mean, you've already got cigar magazines. You could create content for it. What I would actually do if I was in your situation is I would try and build a list of people who like cigars and who like travel. Right? Those are the two things that they have in common. Do you like cigars? You can almost say that. Do you like cigars and travel? My newsletter teaches you, how to find the best cigars, the best trips, and the best cigar-based trips and whatever, right? Then you could basically you could get the different cigar magazines that are out there and then take those and use those as prompts and email game changers and say, write an email about this thing, whatever it is. Like, there's so much content about it already that you could have a daily newsletter that becomes this really fascinating thing about cigars and travel and different places and why cigars from the Dominican are different from Cubans, from this, from that. Like, and it wouldn't have to be daily, but even once or twice a week would work really well. But I think the good thing is when you talk about cigars, you're typically attracting people who do have money already. It tends to be a more affluent audience, so it's a good audience to go after. But yeah, I would just be trying to build a list around that. I mean, you could do, say that's where Instagram content and stuff like that would be real valuable to then run ads on top of that. But basically to just build a list. And then, I would be showing pictures of what it's like, to come out here, stuff like that. There's so much content already out there that you could literally go find a backlog of, what isn't that Cigar Aficionado? Isn't that a magazine? There's like, you could go.
The worst part is I'm not a cigar person. I don't know if I'm being a fraud doing this, but my whole family's into cigars. My grandfather made his wealth in cigars. My whole family's into it. I just moved here 2 years ago, and I realized that, hey, I have all these resources of cigars and stuff.
It's up to you. You don't have to love it to do it. It might help in this situation, but that's the thing, is you don't have to be an expert to go and literally find a backlog of a bunch of Cigar Aficionado magazines, and they'll literally, your audience is already built. It's already, all the content's already there to tell you what people like because they've figured it out. So I think it's a good audience, and if you could attach it to, I don't think you have to. If there are people who just want a cigar trip, that's it.
I
or
would
if
like
it's
to
business
target those
related.
people that just want like a day's or 2 days little cigar experience in the most fertile land of tobacco. This tobacco land. I'm surrounded by tobacco.
Yeah,
I think people would love it, from ground seed all the way to smoking.
Yeah, I think even people would probably be more interested than you'd think in the process of what that is and why it's different. Like, because if somebody's going, well, pretty hard to go to Cuba in general, but why would I go to the Dominican instead of this place? And when you tell the story about, here's why it's different, that's inherently interesting to people who are interested in cigars. So I'd say, 1 to 3 emails a week about cigars, about the Dominican, about even just different types of stuff. There's so many different things you could talk about why cigars from this other region are good, but at the bottom, by the way, the best cigars are still here in the Dominican if you want to come book a trip.
What would be like an info product I can create of that? Because I can see affiliate products and maybe like the mastermind, but what would it be like an info product that I could come out of that?
I wouldn't focus on an info product. I would focus on creating free content and then selling other people's cigars as an affiliate, or lighters, and like using other people's e-com stores and stuff. Yeah, basically what Nick just said. I'd rip ideas from a big magazine like Cigar Aficionado and put your own spin on it. You don't have to sell an info thing. I wouldn't sell an info thing. I would try and get affiliate commissions for physical products and then sell the higher ticket trip.
Wouldn't it cost a lot to get a volume of those email subscribers? You're just saying through IG content just to and put a lead.
I don't know. That part is a little beyond the scope of, what I want to go into right now. But I mean, those people are out there. I mean, there's lots of ways to find them. But as far as the email strategy itself, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Let's do one more, and then I want to move into demos, and let's go quick. So what do each of you, for Jessica, Beta, and Dina, if you guys just put in your different businesses into the chat real quick, so I want to just pick which one is sort of the most different from these other ones. And then another thing just to say here for like local businesses, if you are one or you write for one of the things, like your goal, let's say it's, if you're a coffee shop, at least once a week sending out some sort of a discount or an offer to get them in, right? Like a buy one, get one, or whatever that might be, some sort of genuine deal focused thing. Same with a bar. Hey, by the way, Monday nights we do karaoke. Tuesday nights we have trivia. Like having reasons for people to come in, and then having little secret things that they can do, where if they read your emails, you get 10% off this week if you come in and you say the code, trivia. Right, where people then essentially get rewarded for having been on your list. And if you're a chiropractor, it's kind of like, again, going back to this monetary North Star concept. If you're a chiropractor, you're going to have two goals, either to get somebody to come back who already came in, or to get somebody to come in for the first time. So how can you reverse the risk and make as good an offer as possible to get them to come in for the first time? Then that's really what most of your emails are going to be content, some sort of, if you have this type of pain, here's what to do. If you have this type of pain, do this, whatever it is. And then your goal is to get them into the actual physical location. Okay. Holistic and integrative doctor, transformational vocal coaching. Let's Beta, let's go through yours. So do you do online consulting, or is it an in-person practice?
I mean, it's actually Beata. It rhymes with like Giada.
Okay.
Beata.
Beata, got it.
Yes. So I do a little bit of a hybrid, much more virtual, but I also offer in person.
Okay. And what's the price?
So it ranges. I have been starting off with a $350 like initial consult, but I have it set up already, a mastermind essentially. So it's a 3-month for $1,000 or a 6-month for $3,000 with monthly consults. So okay. I have kind of the rules of the mastermind built out.
So if that's the case, then you could tell people about the pricing of stuff in email, but ultimately it would sound like your primary goal is going to get people to pay for that initial consult, right? So that's kind of your North Star. So you could literally write, I mean, if it's like holistic and integrative stuff, you could write a daily email, right? Easily on all the different things that are wrong with the world, and, the different things that are probably in their house that are slowly killing them, and all sorts of shit, right? There's a million influencers talking about, legitimate alternative health stuff you can basically scare the shit out of people every single day if you want. But I would basically have a combination. I would pick sort of a rhythm that works for you. Like I said, it could be daily, but it could be once a week, could be 3 times a week. 2 or 3 times a week is kind of a sweet spot for a lot of people who aren't willing to do it daily, or feel like that's too much for their specific niche. So for a lot of people, I would say like fall into that 2 to 3 to 4 times a week category. When we were I had a list management business, and we had clients who paid us $5K a month, and we would do 3 to 4 emails a week. And that was largely high ticket, similar to what you're doing, where it's, anywhere from maybe an initial call is free to a, $2,000 to $5,000 product. And we would basically send 3 to 4 emails a week. And it'd be a mixture of stories about people who've worked with us and what happened to them, different things that they're probably doing wrong. And then 1 email a week should really be like that Sunday email is kind of it's like getting them off the fence, right? So kind of instilling some sort of a fear or a desire to do something differently, right? So maybe more direct on that email. But basically, with those, you can really easily just focus on all sorts of different types of things that are interesting. And you can even go on I don't know what it is anymore, but you could go to Google, Google Trends. You even though they're not great with alternative stuff. But and just kind of see what's interesting to people. Because one thing you can do is, let's say, the the Game Changers vegan documentary came out and you want to go, okay, this is stupid and here's why. Right? You can go and take things that are popular and say why they're not good, or you can take things that are popular and say why they are good. But there's just so many, whether it's case studies of people you've worked with, so-and-so had Crohn's disease. This is what happened to them after we started working together. I'd say one story a week, one story of someone else or yourself. Stories can be either way, right? So there's that reveal formula, right? So results, value, lifestyle. So an email that talks about the results that you or other people have gotten from your programs. Value is just something purely valuable. Did you know that the laundry detergent you're using is full of chemicals and shit that might be causing any of the skin issues that you have? And then lifestyle, which can be either the lifestyle that it gives you. So for me, that might be, I just spent 3 weeks in Europe, barely having to work and still made a lot of money because of my business. Or so-and-so's lifestyle is good because of this. Or in the fitness industry, it might be, yes, it's easy to get jacked if you're willing to not drink, not eat a carb, not do this, only do these things. It's like, well, but you need to actually develop a realistic lifestyle that's going to work for you. So that could be the lifestyle factor. But sort of that RVL is something that you can really lean into. So results, whether that's your own or someone else's. Value, which is just straight up providing some level of value. And then lifestyle, which might be, even this, like if you're tired of having to go to the bathroom 9 times a day because of your Crohn's disease, let's talk, right? And talking about the lifestyle and how things can change in that regard.
That's great to give it a little structure. And then one of the other things is I have lots of mini offers. So I have like a live program starting in a month. So I'm thinking with that kind of email sequence that you were, breaking down for the month. So it's like week 1, I would be more promoting that, book a first initial consultation, and then starting the promo for that live program, kind of like.
Yeah, because some people just want to go straight for the bigger thing. So it is important to let them know that it exists. But ultimately, I would say that your domino, or sort of, there's something called the chain of belief. So I think of it like bowling pins, right? If you don't knock down, you can knock down 9 pins without hitting the first pin. But if you don't hit the first pin, you can't knock them all down. And so it's kind of like, what is that first pin that's going to have that domino effect? And ultimately for you, that's going to be the consult. And something you could test, especially if you're earlier on or you're not getting as many consults as you'd like, is shifting the actual offer of the consult. So maybe it's free for 30 minutes, or what you do is a deposit. So it's $100 for the consult, but you get the $100 back at the end of it. That way people show up. Or you do a free consult, whatever. Like I always tell people earlier on, if you're doing higher ticket stuff, do the shit for free in the beginning, because the other thing is what you're going to learn on those calls is how to sell the thing. So it's a hugely valuable, thing to do. It also can devalue you, so you got to think about that. But like the $350 could be, it's $400 to book a consult, and after you actually show up and complete it, I send back $200, right? And actually shifting the literal offer of what that initial thing is. But ultimately, your primary goal should be to get as many people to talk to you as possible, so that you can sell them the high ticket stuff. And so your emails are just primary call to action is get this thing, sign up for a call.
Mm-hmm. And then I have like a 3-month package as well. So that's kind of what I've shifted from just getting, because that's a lot of people would get an initial consult, but then not be willing to do the work. And again, with holistic health, it's not a quick fix. So we need 3 to 6 months. So I started at the end of last year, just promoting the 3-month package. And I'm just curious, again, that's $1,000. So it's not too expensive, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I think you can let people know. Some people like to hide all their pricing, and that can be smart at times because you need that long phone call in order for them to understand the value of what you're providing. There's a reason why when I do webinars, I don't say, hey, just so you know what I'm going to be talking about today at the end of it, it's $2,000. I had a guy who did that once when I was doing an affiliate promotion. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like the whole point is they spend 45 minutes to an hour here going, holy shit, this is amazing. Now I get why it costs so much, but if you tell them what it costs up front, they don't think it's worth it. I just signed up for a thing that's $14,000 for the year for a health thing. And, I knew that going in, which was actually better because then it wasn't like, holy shit, this was way more expensive than I expected. But yeah, so you can definitely let people know the pricing and stuff. But again, I think your primary goal is going to be to get people onto the call and then use that sort of RVL formula. So we've gone for a while with everybody here. I said 2 hours. So what I want to do is I want to switch over to sort of demonstrating the different types of emails and stuff and how to use the email game changers tool to actually do all of this. So I'm going to change gears to that. And then there is a Q&A that we're doing on Tuesday of next week. So preferably what you do is you take all the things you've learned, you use them, you implement them, and then you show up next week, and then it'll just be me answering questions and talking to you guys. So yeah, cool. So I'm going to share my screen here and to demonstrate all this. And then for those of you who are in the follow along, I'm going to be creating, hopefully 25 emails over the course of 4 days and basically showing you all the emails. And I'm going to be largely using the email game changers tool to do all of that. So to go into sort of the email types and stuff like this, and basically what I would say is when it comes to your call to actions, which we talked about, sort of those different types of calls to actions you have, that's kind of the one part where you're going to have to create some sort of editing at the bottom. Instead of just click here to buy this, it can be PS, here's this thing, or whatever it might be. Who here is already a subscriber, or who here is not a subscriber? Just put that into the chat, that'll be easier. Just curious to see how many of you guys have already used the tool since day one. Hell yeah. Okay, so for those, I'll just put the link in here for you guys if you want to use it. And like I said, there is a free trial there. So if you want to sign up for it and use it and follow along while we do the follow along, that will be very helpful for you. Okay, so this is honestly, this is my favorite part of the tool at this point. So you input your products. So I have a handful of my products in here. So we'll take 90 Days to Freedom as an example. We actually just rehired a sales guy, and so he's going to be doing book calls again. So this is something now, instead of just doing one-off promos, I can have people book calls. So this is my favorite part of it. And I'm not going to go super in depth on this whole thing right now, because in the follow along, I'll go really in depth, but just so you guys can see how the products work. Basically, you have your different products that you have saved in here. And so you fill these out once and then they exist forever. So business name of the person writing them, product name, product or niche, describe who your ideal customer is, what's the price. So this I may leave empty if I'm just going to do book calls. And then this is all optional, but I will say that the more of this you fill out up here, the better it's going to be as far as having stories to pull from. So what's the writer's hero's journey that made them create this product? What makes your product unique or better than competitors? What transformation does it offer? So there you can see that, and you can edit that at any time. So you can just put in a simple one to start. But so I'm going to go here, and this is literally my favorite part. So like I was saying, there's these different types of emails. Even if you don't use the tool, this is a really simple way to think about things. The worst way to get a result, the best way to get a result without doing a thing you don't want to do, right? So the best way to get abs without quitting drinking alcohol. The best way to get abs without giving up cubs. The best way to get abs, eat all day, every day. The one thing to get results. This is what I've been thinking about. This is kind of a cool one. Actually, I haven't been using these lately, but it's basically just like a sort of brain fart email, just like, hey, here's something that's on my mind. And then basically what will happen is it's going to come up with 5 different options for you. All you have to do, you can literally now write emails without writing a single word. So money loves a lazy person. I had a strange thought while laying in my hammock today. I did used to have a hammock that I laid in quite regularly. And then you just copy and paste this whole thing in here. So what I typically do is I look at the ones that stand out to me most as far as subject line and sort of concept, and then I just copy and paste it in. So why emails fail at 3 p.m. I caught my brain playing tricks on me this morning. Profit from being yourself. That's a great concept right there. The power of boring decisions. So basically you can go in here and paradigm shift and myth busting, which is essentially taking something people may think to be true. So you've probably heard that being a vegan is good for you, but did you know that they look like gatherers? whatever you want to say in your own belief system. Why do people that eat meat look like hunters and people who are vegan look like gatherers? That's just my own opinion. You can believe anything you want. But basically, you can take a concept that people believe in and then shift their paradigm of what they believe to be true. Oh, you have to work a shitty job for 50 years and then retire. That's how the world works. So, oh, that's actually kind of a funny thing, because I do have a college degree that I don't use. But actually, this is kind of a fun one. Let's just copy and paste this. So all you have to do is copy this, paste it in. This is a great one. Actually, this is a really good concept. So I'm just going to take this. Stop trying to sound smart. The dumber your emails sound, the more money you'll make. Money loves terrible grammar. The laptop lifestyle is dead. That's actually a fun one. Writers make terrible money. These are actually, I'd say 4 of these 5 are really good. So literally you can just, actually I want to see what this one says. So all you have to do is copy this, you paste it in here, you hit create email, and it's going to write an email for you. So this is where you can kind of come in and decide on, like I said, your rhythm, what type of emails you want to send. And this is more specific on the actual type the email is. And then you can just sort of adapt your call to action down here based on the other stuff that we talked about. Most writers are broke because they're trying to be writers. It's actually pretty funny when you think about it. They study literature, creative writing, and poetry for years, and they wonder why they can't pay their bills. Sorry, English majors. But here's the thing. The best paid writers in the world don't think like writers at all. They think like marketers who happen to write. It's actually a great line. These folks aren't trying to win literary awards or impress their old professors. They're focused on one thing, getting results. It's wild. Some of the highest paid writers I know couldn't tell you what an Oxford comma is, and they don't care either. Instead, they understand psychology. They know what makes people tick, and most importantly, they know how to sell. Look, I'm not trying to crush anyone's dreams of writing the next great American novel, but if you want to make real money writing, you need to drop the starving artist mindset. I would actually add in one line here, so I'm actually going to save this one, but what is it? So I may just add in a line, but, and that's true, James Patterson, who's the richest writer in the world now, started as a copywriter. There's quite a few different writers who started as copywriters. But one of the crazy part, writing copy that sells is easier than writing proper content. You just write like you talk. No fancy words needed, no complex sentences required. Just simple words that get the job done. That's exactly what I teach in 90 Days to Freedom. How to write emails that make money, not win awards. And then basically, this is what I would do. Click here to book a call to see if 90 TF right for you. Boom. There's an email. Done. Actually what was this one? What's the title? And so then I just save these for writers, and now that is in my email database down here. I just go here, and then I like to do it this way. You just go create it at, I don't know where that one just went, but basically you just have all your shit saved in here, and all of your stuff will be in your data. Did I hit the right button? I thought I did. I haven't seen it not saved before, so okay, just said save successfully. But basically, you can come into your database here, and then you can also search by business name. So if you have different businesses that you write for and stuff, but this is the easiest way to just come up with a bunch of stuff, is to just literally go into the broadcast builder and use this. So paradigm shift, myth busting, Mr. Miyagi, 80-20 rule. So all of these are already saved in here. We'll probably add more of a time. And then as far as, which we didn't really go into today because this wasn't the purpose of this training, I have the welcome email sequence stuff if you want to go by that. But you can write your entire welcome sequences, pre-webinar sequences, post-webinar, post-purchase, abandoned cart, and all this stuff as well. And literally with this stuff, you don't even have to do prompts. You just straight up pick the lead magnet, 6-hour email template. I'm selling 90 Days to Freedom, and it'll literally create a sequence for you. But as far as the just fucking send it stuff goes, and actually I'm going to go out of the sequence builder here, but so this will literally write it all for you.
Get out of this.
What? Okay, so this is the story selling tool. This is one of my favorite things as well. And so just so you know, you can also add in an advanced style customization. So the default writing style is sort of my style. What you can do is you can change the tone. So I was telling the person who was writing serious stuff, literally you can go in here and put emotional and serious and make that your tone. Humorous and sarcastic, sympathetic and playful. You know, there's some weird ones, conversational and friendly, but the default tone is typically what we're going to kind of lean into. But what you can do here is add a style. So let's say your name is my buddy Rich. You take 5 emails that you've written in the past and you literally upload them here, and then it's going to follow that style so that it's less of my voice and more of your voice. So let's just do a quick story one just for fun. I'll show you guys this. So instead of having to sit down and write entire stories, you can literally just like write one word and it'll write your stories for you. So let's say, why doesn't somebody give me a story prompt, and I'll literally just put it in here and we'll watch what it does. Yes. Okay, Tavana, really good question real quick before I go into this. Yeah, so here's the copy coach. So if you want to take any emails you've written in the past, you literally just paste it in here and it'll rewrite and improve it for you. So let me see if I can take, that's the whole thing. Hold on, let me just grab this. All right, here we go. So you literally just put this in here, get feedback now, and it's going to grade it, rewrite it, and you can do this with anything. And then even within broadcast and story selling, you'll see that you can literally write in there, or you can just click a button and it'll add it to the copy coach. So I got a B+. Good hook with the R-rated angle, smart inclusion of opt-out option early, nice cultural references, Deadpool, Wolverine, clear value price. This is like having me coach you every day, basically, except it doesn't sleep or eat or complain. Subject line needs work, too flat, opening could be punchier, needs more personality, humor, could use more. Here's how I'd rewrite it. Subject warning, this email contains naughty words. Ever notice how the best shit in life is rated R? Deadpool, hangover, wedding crashes, and now my new email course. Yeah, I'm creating something that would make your grandmother blush. Sorry, Grandma. I've been teaching. What I actually would do personally, instead of having it like rewrite for me, is I'd send this as a secondary email. So I'd basically get 2 emails out of one, because this is a similar concept but different enough that I could send this. I probably should have done this because this is a good email. I've been teaching email marketing for 14 years. That's longer than some of my students have been alive. I don't know if I have any 13-year-olds succeeding with my stuff, but anyway, I'm throwing out my keep it clean rulebook and creating something raw, real, and ridiculously effective. Fair warning. If you're offended by swear words, click here to skip these promo emails. You'll still get my regular stuff, just not the R-rated material. But if you're cool with some colorful language, you're in for a treat. This course is going to be the perfect blend of entertainment and education. Think Deadpool meets email marketing. Why now? I'm writing a book with the same title and wanted to create the uncensored Masterclass version, the one where I can really let loose. Want a taste of what's coming? Check out this high-level speech I gave, it's free on YouTube. So but it just took it and rewrote it. And so this is one of the best things if you do write your own stuff, is to just come in here, let it grade you, and you'll basically find out pretty consistently what you do well and don't do well. And you can work on those things and improving them. Or you can just let the tool do it for you. Okay. What was just croissant? I didn't mean a 1-word story. Actually, let's try this. This will be fun. We're going to go real simple here. Let's go with remove your money blocks. I don't have any idea what it's going to say. So here, I'm just going to say I ate a croissant this morning. That's the whole story. I didn't. But damn, they're good. That'd be a great one, is why are French people still skinnier than Americans, even though they eat croissants every morning and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and do all sorts of different shit. It's because you have to be tiny just to fit in a bathroom in France. That's why people aren't overweight in Europe, because to walk to a bathroom is a goddamn challenge. It's down the tiniest staircase you've ever seen, through a door where I have to turn my body to get into it. That's why people aren't overweight, because you can't be overweight and actually you just have to shit your pants everywhere. Okay. I nearly died for a croissant. So again, I'm not saying make up fake stories, by the way, either. Like, I like to give it a real story and then make it real, but this is, Yeah, this will be fine. I nearly died for a croissant. I did something ridiculous for a croissant, like monumentally stupid. My favorite bakery opened at 7 a.m. sharp. There I was at 6:45 waiting outside like some pastry crazed lunatic. This is how you know it doesn't know me. I would never be early for a store opening. But anyway, I hadn't slept at all. I've been up all night working on a project. My brain is basically mush, and these aren't just any croissants. They're those perfectly flaky, butter dripping, makes you want to cry tears of joy kind of croissants. So I stood there swaying like a drunk penguin. My eyes kept closing on their own. The baker saw me through the window and actually looked worried. When she finally opened the door, I stumbled in and pointed at the croissant. Words were heard. You know what? The first bite made everything worth it, even though I nearly face planted into the display case. Here's what hit me, besides almost hitting the floor. We do crazy things for what we truly value. Some people think I'm nuts for being obsessed over a croissant, just like some folks think it's crazy to look at their relationship with money. But if you're reading this, you know better. You know that examining your money blocks is worth every second. It's exactly why I created a movie, Money Blocks. It's your chance to get crazy serious about your relationship with money without the sleep deprivation or potential concussions. For just $47, you can transform your money mindset. No bakery stalking required. This is great. I mean, the story itself is very well written. It's entertaining. It's fun. And this is kind of one of the main things I teach in email is to write stories this is what I call a correlation email, where you write about something that seemingly has nothing to do with what you're selling, and then it seamlessly transitions into selling that thing. And this is one of the best. This is where, even if you didn't want to specifically transition into the Money Blocks course, PS, if you want to improve your relationship to money, click here. Super simple. Okay, all right. Cool. I know we've been going forever today, and for those of you who are in the follow along, we'll be getting into that tomorrow. But any questions on this stuff right now? And again, there is the Q&A session next week, so you'll be able to ask any questions you want then. But honestly, if you like, again, until 2 or 3 months ago, once we really made this tool like fucking remarkable, like I can actually use this now. I can use this and let it write and not have to make many, if any, edits, which is pretty remarkable because it used to take months or years to get good enough to, for most people to write stuff that would be really good. And now you can literally just copy and paste shit. So pretty cool. All right. I think we covered everything. And again, anything we didn't, take notes throughout the week while you're doing stuff. Yeah, let me show you a product description. That's a good idea. So I'll say this, you can literally put just the top couple things. So all that's required is, let's take this one, for example. Business name, your name, product name, how to make money by changing your habits, who it's for, price. This doesn't have to be price. This actually, I did this before we changed this. This is more of like, it's a 7-day challenge with emails and videos that go out every single day to help you change your mornings. This is, I've never actually even filled out what's the number one big audience or big result, pain, roadblock, how fast, but you can put all this in. But I typically do these, and then this is one of these are the two most important, or I'd say these are the 3 most important longer term to get more and more out of each email where it's going to have this story to pull from. So I fill this out, and then what makes it unique, and then what transformation. And then if you want to, you can go into more depth here. The thing is like in the beginning, I would tell people just focus on these 5. It takes like 1 minute to 2 or 3 minutes to fill this out and then start testing. But if you want to go more in depth, go down into this section and add these things in. But again, you can edit the products whenever you want. So don't feel a ton of pressure to get it right the first time, but you can come in here and continue to add to this just to give it more sort of fuel to the fire. Okay. I add images sometimes. Like I sent one out over Christmas, and I took a picture of that hose that we had to put across the street. Like, if there's an image that's related to my story, I will. I just hate the pain in the ass of, I'm just so lazy that I don't like airdropping a photo to my computer, uploading it to ActiveCampaign, and then putting it in there. It takes like 1 or 2 minutes, but I just am lazy. So having little things like that can definitely help. Okay. Yeah, and this is what's going to be cool about showing the EGC stuff. It's a mix for me. I mean, I still mainly manually write stuff because I like writing, but when it comes to, at this point, what I am doing more than ever before is coming up with ideas and then editing kind of the email that it writes. But for this 25 email thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be largely using the tool to write as much as possible. That's what's going to be fun about this. It's kind of like the blend of AI and HI, right? Human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Because the thing, I can't just let it write stories. It'll like make up shit that's not real about like my life and things. And so I just need to make sure it's telling the truth. That's why I've told people, if you had a pen name and yeah, Rohit, I like that. I was a reluctant user, but now I'm hooked onto it. Yeah, I felt the same way, to be honest. I was a reluctant user of the tool, and now I'm actually kind of addicted to using it for ideas now. Like, because one of the biggest things about writing, it's not so much about the time, even for how, because I write very quickly. It's like 7 to 15 minutes for an email. But if I don't feel like it, or I'm tired, or whatever's going on, I'm like, it's so nice to be able to just use no brain power and have it write stuff for me. Like, there's no excuse not to send as many emails as you should send at this point. Like, 6 months ago, even for me to tell you, oh, you should write daily emails of 3 a week, like a lot of people just won't do it because they just won't make the time. They don't have the bandwidth, whatever it is. With this, it's like you really don't have an excuse anymore. Like if you can't spend 30 minutes or 20 minutes a week just writing like a full week's emails, it's a monthly subscription. So there's training and stuff once you're inside of it. There's like a whole tour and different videos and stuff that teach you how to use it. But the tool is a monthly subscription. So, and then you can also build your email list with it. So you can create ads, you can create opt-in pages, or well, the copy for them. So not the pages themselves, but the copy for your ads, the copy for your opt-in pages, and the copy for your sales pages as well. And then if you write for other people, there's also an initial outreach tool to write emails to get clients. But for the writing emails portion, for the just fucking send it stuff, this little 4 pieces here, broadcast builder, copy coach, story selling, and sequence, these are going to be your best friends. Really, between this and these 3 on a daily basis are going to be what you use. Dude, the opt-in page is really good. Yeah, the ads are incredible. If you write ads, it's unbelievable for ads. And here's the page to go get a trial and test it out if you want at emailgamechangers.com. Okay, guys, we went over 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was a long-ass thing, but hopefully that was really helpful. I had a great time teaching this. And like I said, so whether you bought the follow along or not, the Q&A will be next week. If you've bought this in the future and it's the future already, then the Q&A is ready for you. So you can go watch it right now. And then for everybody who got the follow along, I'd love to have you guys show up. I'm basically just going to be working each hour, just literally writing, tweaking. I think that's what's going to be so cool about this is you guys will get to see how much I think about, or how I think about email, why I'm writing the thing I'm writing, why I'm having the tool write this email, why I'm promoting what I'm writing, the sort of why behind it all, and then see it actually get created. And then you'll be on the list and you'll see the emails all get sent out as well, which will be cool. And then for those of you who didn't get the 2080 advanced, that'll be, or for those of you who did, that'll be next week as well. I don't know exactly what day yet, but I'll send that out to you. And then I'll probably send an email with a link to that for anybody who wants to buy that didn't. But yeah, cool, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for participating and asking questions. And hopefully this was helpful. And again, just to reiterate the most important message, just fucking send it. Stop overthinking things. Use the Game Changers tool. Make money, okay? Yeah. You know, what's funny is he just wrote JSFI. I kept doing that too. And maybe I don't know why. My brain was doing JSFI. I had to put JFSI myself. Yeah, maybe I'll get some just fucking send it shirts made. All the shirts that I want to make are like things you only really want to wear to bed. Like they're not really appropriate for public consumption. So anyway, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow or whenever.